Hello friends and welcome to Picture Astrology. In today's video we will talk about placement of moon in the sign of Aquarius, which is deemed by many as being one of the most philosophical sign in the entire zodiac. But apart from being inclined towards philosophy, the sign of Aquarius, and in turn this position of moon in Aquarius, has many other facets as well. And in this video we will explore from the very practical angle the kind of mental, emotional and physical qualities which moon in Aquarius can provide. So let's begin by talking about the parameters which define the sign of Aquarius. So the element of Aquarius is air and the cardinality is fixed. So it is a fixed air sign and it is ruled by Saturn, and in terms of the symbol, many Vedic astrology texts simply shows a water pot as the symbol of Aquarius. In fact, in Sanskrit language, Aquarius is called as Kumbha, and Kumbh literally means this pot. And yet there are many texts which defines the symbol as the water bearer also, a person who is basically holding a pot of fully filled water. Now if you see the element of air, the basic movement of the air or the most natural movement of air is to and fro. Air, if you observe, simply blows from one side and sometimes from the other side. So the most fundamental way of air is dual, and the most difficult manifestation of air is air which is fully contained and fixed, which is this sign of Aquarius represents. And air is very closely associated with mental activities. If you remember, in my video about moon in Gemini, I've discussed that how Gemini, which is the first air sign, is the time in your life or in a human body's growth, and that the mental activities begin. See, Aries is your birth, Taurus is the time when you are an infant and require a lot of love, care and nourishment from the family, which is defined by Taurus, and Gemini is the time when you slowly convert from an infant to a baby or a toddler and your mental faculties start to blossom. You start to understand things. You start to understand basic instructions, yes, no, hot, cold and so on. So basically air signs are the spectrum of your mental activity, from the very basic mental activities starting from the sign of Gemini to the culmination of mental activities, which is this fixed airy sign of Aquarius, and which is this. So this is the reason why, or one of the reasons why, Aquarius is very closely associated with philosophers, because if your mental faculties, if your intellectual abilities are stable, are focused in a certain way, which happens because of the fixed nature of this air sign, then you can really dive deep into any subject, especially human nature or deep studies of any topic under the sun. So if your horoscope has any kind of spiritual or religious bent, then moon in Aquarius really shows that a person can have great interest in esoteric things. It can show people with deep interest in astrology or any other occult sciences. But if your horoscope or the 10th lord has more worldly behavior, then you can easily become a great scientist, you can easily become a great thinker. And in any case, this sign of moon in Aquarius really make a person interested in deeper secrets of life. They are not just happy with the surface, And I think I have also given this example in moon in Gemini, that moon in Gemini would be more like short stories, a quick joke, a quick witty comment, whereas the Aquarius will be like writing thesis for your PhD studies, reading books, reading classics. And similarly, the same tendency, the same behavior would carry through in other interests also. If they want to watch a movie, they would probably want to watch something which has deeper meanings, something which can really make them think deeper or goes beyond the obvious or the classics. So this is basically one of the reasons why this sign of Aquarius is so closely associated with sages and philosophers, etc. But remember that this sign is not all about religious things, okay? It's not all about pious things, no. If you just look a little deeper, in fact, this sign has a huge spectrum. It can be one of the most sensually inclined sign also, and I will come to the reason as to why in few minutes. So yes, though it is called or associated closely, if you ask or talk to anybody, the first thing they will probably say about the sign of Aquarius is, its relation with philosophy, but it can also show extreme sensual pleasures as well. And as I said, I'll come to the reasons shortly. Now let's talk about the physical characteristics which are related with this sign of Aquarius. Now, generally speaking, air signs are the most difficult signs to gain weight. They find it very difficult to gain weight when it's the sign ruled by air elements. But Gemini is the sign which you will find as the most skinniest sign. And then second will come Libra, and third will be Aquarius. But still, generally speaking, Aquarius sign also is related with a little taller physique. And when I say taller, you should only compare with your family members because you share similar genes. And as a thumb rule, if you have an air sign dominated or moon in any air sign, especially also impacting your ascendant, then the chances of you being the taller among your family members is quite bright. But obviously this sign of Aquarius is not as skinny as the sign of Gemini. Now in human body, calf is the area which is supposed to be ruled by the sign of Aquarius. And I'm sure what I'm talking about now is something you would probably have not heard. That in many of the area in India, people believe that gently massaging your calf muscles have a very soothing effect on your nerves, entire nervous system actually. And this is a very common practice in certain parts of India still, that before you go to sleep, people gently massage their calf areas. And this is specially done for kids and elderlies. It is said that it helps in mental growth and development for kids. And as you know, as you grow old, your mental faculties tend to decline. And this gentle massaging just before going to bed is closely associated with a good night's sleep and as well as soothing effects on your nerves. Now let's talk about the other side of this sign of Aquarius. As I said earlier, that it is not just a sign of philosophy, but this sign is greatly related with your senses as well and sensual pleasures of every kind, be it drinking, gambling or whatever. And there are various ways or reasons for this quality of sign of Aquarius, but let me talk here about one of the most, or probably the most important reason. And that is that if you see, the sign of Aquarius is the 11th sign. And the sign before that is the 10th sign of Capricorn. And Aquarius and Capricorn, both of these signs are ruled by the planet Saturn. So basically, if your moon is posited in Aquarius, that means the 12th house from the moon And as you probably know that moon or placement of moon is also seen as an ascendant point in your horoscope, meaning your horoscope is analyzed by considering moon as the first house or the ascendant point. And that way of understanding or analyzing a horoscope gives great clues about your life as well as your emotional experiences. But the point here is, the moment moon is in sign of Aquarius, 12th house from the moon is also lorded or owned by the owner of moon. And 12th house is closely associated with all kind of pleasures, all kind of sensual activities, all kind of activities in which your life energies can be drained or consumed. So if you drink, go to pub one night, have a lot of alcohol in your system, the kind of hangover you can get into, and it takes time before you can regain the same level of consciousness because of those activities, basically consuming your life energies. And all kind of sensual activities you can find, the common thing will be that they take up part of your life energies. And this is one of the many reasons why Aquarius is not just associated with philosophy, religious things and deep mental activities, but all kind of physical pleasures as well. So what becomes very important when moon is in the sign of Aquarius is, number one, where is the placement of Saturn? Number two, what kind of influences are there on moon? Because moon is by far the most impressionable planet in astrology. So placement of moon in the sign of Aquarius kind of primes it for certain kind of behaviors, and the influences of Saturn and planets aspecting or conjuncting with moon can definitely play a big role in the manifestation of these qualities because of the moon sign. So friends, this was my basic analysis of placement of moon in Aquarius. I hope this would have given you at least some points to think over, much like the sign of Aquarius itself. And I really thank you for being with me so far. Please do like and subscribe to my channel and share this video if you find it useful. And I hope to see you again soon with some important and interesting discussions. Thanks a lot.